I bet. Welcome back to another episode of the LunchTable podcast. We in here.
Yeah, we put in this work and all that. Let's get right into it. We got a good topic. We're gonna talk about time.
As y'all can tell, I'm holding the mic this time because I don't got the nice pants to hold it up. So I'm joining Lucas and the Bozo in this right now.
First, I don't even look like a bozo because I already got a whole hour used to holding it this way, and you don't even look like you got a good way to hold it still.
Shut up, bro. I'm a little behind the game, but it's all right.
Exactly.
We got a little bit of an interesting topic right now, so I hope y'all like.
Yeah. I think we were supposed to talk about this about like a couple of podcasts ago, but it doesn't matter. We're gonna talk about it now. So time. We were talking about the other podcast about how you perceive time because we went into a whole conversation about.
Yo, shit!
I bless you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you, bro.
of course you did. We were talking about time, right?
Yeah.
And time travel and all that. So I posed the question I was gonna ask you that podcast was, do you think time is linear, in the sense of like right now the present that we're living right now is like. It's not.
Like it's the only timeline basically.
Almost, yeah. Like you don't like. Do you think we're living? Do you think this is the future, present, and past right now, or do you think that there's a future? Like, because you said time travel, that you believe in time travel.
Oh yes, I did say that in the last episode. I mean, I said, with the way that technology advances. I just can't see myself like, or I can't see the future not having technology so advanced that allows you to travel back in time. You know, I feel like there's definitely time travelers that exist. There has to be, bro. There just has to be, because the people from the only way that time travelers don't exist is if the world blows up and like before that happens. You know, but if let's say that the Earth has another 1,000 years, you know, within the 1,000 years, I feel like maybe this the technology has been made to allow those people from 1,000 years from now to travel back into the past. Ain't no way there don't be time travelers just crossing in our midst and we just don't know. Like,
oh, so you think that we're not living in the? I don't even know how to really put this into words.
Bro, I'm pretty sure the future motherfuckers come to the past, bro. They come to this time and to the other the past, bro.
So you don't think that we're like like at the tip of time, if that makes sense?
Fuck no. You want to know why? I'm gonna tell you why.
Why?
Because when time traveling exists, that's when we'll finally be able to truly understand our history, bro. I feel like because once time traveling exists, people will be able to go back in time and see accurate accounts of history in present time. Not just what's written in books and what's being rewritten to display whatever the fuck people want to, like, whatever kind of media they want to push or agenda they want to push by making you learn a false history or whatever. Meanwhile, you go back in time, you learn that history on your own, nigga. The people in the future, bro, they at the peak of time, bro, because they know even the past, bro.
Well, yeah, but those people in the future, like, so, but that creates like some real problems, because like if 1,000 years in the future people are time traveling now, then the people that are in the far distant future are traveling, like, you know, it creates a ripple effect. So
what, nigga?
So that would mean there's time travelers like every day almost.
So there probably does though.
There would just be people going back and forth in time. So time wouldn't really matter.
I mean, nah, time will still matter because at the end of the day, everybody has a lifespan. Like,
yeah, but time will matter to us.
What you mean?
The people that don't know how to time travel in this hypothesis, right?
Yeah.
That's the one, like, right now time matters to us because we can't skip it, we can't go back to it, we can't, like, everything is living in the present.
That's the thing. I feel like the time travelers have a certain set of rules regardless, so it's not like they could really change anything in the past anyways. So okay, you get to relive it, but you get to relive something that you wanted to change. Really, what's the point?
I mean, I don't know how the time traveling rules work. There's a bunch of thingies on it, like the grandfather effect.
Yeah,
like,
something like that.
That shit, the butterfly effect.
There be some weird shits. There be definitely some effects on
On effects or effects on effects.
On effects on traveling, bro.
The whole Infinity War shit, the whole like Endgame shit.
Yeah, I mean, there's different. A lot of different shows have a lot of different explanations. Like the Flash, bro. Like he goes back in time and he changes everything.
Yeah, I think that show. I think at one point there was like 4 Flashes in that house. For the house where his parents died, that nigga went back to that shit
like 3 times, bro. There was definitely a whole bunch. That's my point, though. That's what I'm saying. Like, but it changes the future every single time. And so I think that like, if that were to be the case, then that's why niggas are not able to interact with our present selves, or what would be our past selves to them. Because like they're supposed to abide by the laws, you feel me? Because okay, this is what I think. I think in like 1,000 years, technology and the world has evolved so much to the point where like it's not necessarily one nation, like the whole world, but I think it's like almost like not world peace even, but like there's certain mutual agreements throughout the entire world.
Yeah.
You know, and time traveling laws is probably one of them. Because of how big it probably became in the future.
Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I think there
So
will be
like
still
it's
some
definitely
devious as motherfuckers.
Yeah, and the devious niggas probably got devious motherfuckers to regulate.
Also,
like they gotta be like probably like a time patroller. You feel me? Like that nigga from Xenoverse.
Yeah.
Or whatever. But some time cops or some shit to be able to figure out any.
The nigga Loki,
exactly.
What the shit's called? The time variance? No.
Yeah, I think so.
The variant course? I don't know what it is.
But fuck it.
That show was fire.
But they control it, right?
Yeah.
Like, so that people don't find out. Because that's the idea, that you're not supposed to know that this exists.
But at the same,
unless you are supposed to know that this exists, you know.
Yeah, but then at the same time, at least from the show, where like it's getting to that point where like Loki's basically making everybody question if they're really in the right, because then the show where they're saying that they know exactly what happens in their lives, and that's not really freedom.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time,
I mean, but I don't think that they have control over. Because the thing that is a little different in Loki, because these people are literally like gods.
Yeah.
You know, they can see the entire universe, and actually, I don't know. Because if time traveling exists, then you can also go into the future, and if you don't like your future, you might want to try to change that in the present.
Exactly. But it's also it's kind of cool though. Like, I just thought about this on the spot, but like, when you're like the youngest of a family like we are, and like we're pretty similar to our brothers, so like it's almost like our brothers are like our future, a different version of ourselves.
Yeah, in the future.
Yeah,
like,
in the future, like if we would do certain decisions that way. Because like they always tell, I'm pretty sure this happens to you and everybody that's the youngest child. They always tell us like, yo, don't do what I did, do this differently.
Literally.
So like in that way of thinking, it's like they're like avoiding you to go down that same path.
Yeah.
So it's almost like they're like talking to their younger self.
If you could travel to the past, back in time, and tell your younger self something, what would you tell that motherfucker?
That's a great question. Do you got one? Because I think I can.
Damn, bro. Honestly, I do not know. I've thought about this in the past. Like, I've thought about it. Like, what would I say to myself if I could, like, revisit the past? You know? But then it's just, like I'm trying to think about it, and I'm just there, like, if my younger self were to see my future self, he'd probably be like, what the fuck? And not listen to him anyways. Or
really?
to me. Yeah. I think if I saw myself as a child, if I saw me who I am today, I probably wouldn't believe anything I said.
Actually, I do think so.
Like, I would not believe it.
Now that I kind of thought of what I would say this to my young self, but I doubt I'll even like.
Right, like I'll try to give him some words of guidance, but it's just there like I wouldn't know.
The only words so far of guidance that I would tell myself would be basically like, don't be afraid to open up to the people that you already have in your life, because they're good for it.
Yeah.
That's what I would tell my younger self. But in all honesty, the play style was that
Exactly. Like,
it
mentally, if
would've,
you
like-
really think about it, you just be like, I probably still would have disregarded it. Like,
yeah, maybe not. I would like to think I wouldn't just because it's myself.
It's yourself, but it's just that, like, because you might just be like, I mean, but if he's saying it to me, it must be for a reason, right? Like, you gotta think that maybe.
I would think I would hopefully
hopefully.
think that I would be intelligent enough at that age to be like, maybe I am right.
I feel like I would be dumb enough to be like, damn, I can't believe this nigga fell down the wrong path. Idiot. Now I gotta make sure not to do that shit. like I feel like if I was a kid, I'd do some shit like that. Be like, I cannot believe this is what my life became. This bitch? Nah. You gotta do something about it.
Oh
right
yeah,
now.
when you the asshole so.
Yeah. It's like, what nigga, what words of wisdom you giving me? Fuck out of here.
Where, cause like there's certain things that happen that has to happen first for you to even.
And like I said, you know, there be a time for everything, you know. So it's just that like hearing it at such a young age might not really have that effect on you because you was not in the right time to hear it. You know, in the right place to hear it. So even if you were to try and tell yourself, if anything, it might just have an adverse effect, and he might just push you away on some bullshit like.
Yeah, or maybe you fall into a different trap.
Literally.
Yeah, cause like.
But that's why I thought this is I put a lot of thought into this question because I've thought about it myself for a long time, and I told myself, like, if I were to go back into the past and see my past self, I wouldn't even let him know it was me. Like, if he wasn't able to tell, I wouldn't even let him know it was me.
But what would you tell him though?
Nothing, absolutely nothing. I would just spend the day with him to learn as a future person who I was in the past. But I would tell him absolutely nothing.
That's kind of.
I might leave him a note though. I might leave him a note and be like, yo, open this when you like. Open this in like 2 years.
Yeah.
He might open it before, but I probably wouldn't say anything to him. Honestly,
That's kind of like a good way to think about it, cause I think, wow, that's like, cause like if you do that, like if you like meet your other self, don't tell him anything.
Yeah.
Like you said, like if you would tell him something, like he probably wouldn't listen.
Yeah.
But if you the person that's traveling back in time, you might learn something.
Exactly. All right. Like I'm going back in time and I'm getting a better understanding of shit. As an older person, I can better understand the emotions I was going through that I didn't understand at that time, anyways.
Yeah, and then vice versa.
Exactly.
That actually, yeah.
So if anything, I would go back as the person in the present to try and understand myself better, but not really to try and get the past me to understand.
That's fire.
Your life better.
I never heard somebody else say that, but that is fire.
Yeah, that's just, bro, because I've literally thought about this shit for so long, bro. Because I've literally just been there, like, what would I really tell this nigga that, like, and if I do, would it be effective?
I don't think anything I would tell myself would be effective.
Right, that's what I'm saying. That's why I put so much thought into it, because I've been asked that question before. Sometimes you have that thing that's just, they're like, oh, write yourself a letter in 5 years, you know, see whatever. See if you've achieved any of your goals or whatever, you know. So I've thought the same, but backwards. It's just they're like, okay, what if I got to go 5 years in the past or something like that, 10, 20, 15 years?
Can I pick up anything?
Yeah. You know, so it's just that, like, I know realistically I probably won't really be able to instill my experiences onto him. You're still younger than me, bro. You probably can't process shit to the same level and to the same extent.
Same thought process.
Yeah, same thought process, exactly. But my thought process is already more developed than yours, so I can understand even you better. In essence, myself better when I didn't understand myself at that age.
Yeah, my brother Will told me, like, we were having a conversation about like how you are as a person, like just as a regular person, and he was telling me how we were talking about how like when you're a kid, like you have that set personality, and then you go through high school, then you develop almost like a different personality, and then by the time where you're 18, you kind of figure out that like your real personality is kind of almost a blend.
Literally.
Of how you come
of like your child personality and then who you developed into.
But then but like by the time you're like 18, like you're trying to figure it out, and then by the time like you're 25, at least for him, that's what he said, was just like I kind of knew myself by the time I was like around 25, and it was just basically almost like a blend of how I was as a child and how I was as a teenager, which I thought was just like, I'm kind of going through that same too.
Facts.
Because these past few months or year, like I've been.
I didn't put the time. Oh, I did put the time.
You did put the time.
Yeah, I'm not.
This past year or so, like I figured, like I've been getting like the self-discovery, that shit.
Yeah.
I've been pretty much I think about it more clearly now. It's just like, I'm getting the personality that I had as a child kind of now.
Like, kind of now, right? But then
Yeah.
imagine telling your child self something like that. Like, you probably wouldn't even understand. It's like trying to tell yourself as a 10-year-old who you would be as an 18-year-old would be probably really hard for that 10-year-old to understand.
Yeah, and he probably
given already all the shit that's probably going through that motherfucker's head. You know, like you already know me. Like at that age, at the age of 10, me mentally I was not necessarily in the best place, but I was still thugging it out. But if I tell my 10-year-old self everything I know as an 18-year-old, or even everything he's going to go through afterwards, that nigga gonna be like, nigga, what is life then? Like, like the fuck?
And like you have to go to the goddamn developmental years of like high school and all that stuff to really appreciate who you were before.
Yeah, facts. Facts.
Be like, oh damn, I lost my way. I had to come back.
Facts. But and then when you get the blend, that's when it really starts to sit all well better together. I feel like, even though we may not necessarily be there, but we're working on it. No matter. Yeah. And so get into it as long as we keep I guess an open mind to it, then it'll be good.
Yeah. Imagine how many old heads are like, if they do listen to the podcast, like the teachers and stuff, and they probably think about the same shit. You gonna cause them to think about the ill nostalgic shit.
Oh shit, bro.
Be like, damn, son. That's what we try to do. So if any teachers watching, I hope you guys do this reflection.
Yeah, facts. Or is it still the reflection, bro? You just there like, damn, what would I tell my younger self? Facts. I want y'all to think about that too. Like, matter of fact, put it down in the comments. If you could go back in time 5 years or whatever, however many years you want, what would you do with your younger self?
Yeah, this is a question more for like the older people, but even like people our age, it would just be interesting because we would be 13.
Yeah,
I don't even remember what 13. What grade is 13? Like
eighth
ninth?
grade. Eighth grade.
8th and 9th grade. Yeah, I don't even know how the hell I would react to that type of shit.
Yeah, bro, it's over. But okay, so I want the other thing I thought about was, if you could go into the future, would you go and try to find out who your significant other is?
Nah.
You wouldn't want to know?
No. That's
crazy. Why not?
One, I think it would like almost like ruin the surprise. Also, I think it would what's that word? It would kind of like not turn off. It would almost like I would only be focused on that person, if that makes sense. So if I would come across any other girl, I would be like, well, I mean, I know you're not the one, so why would I even struggle with you?
Yo, that's like exactly what my brother said, but the difference is that he said he would want to go. He was just there like, he was like, nah, I would want to know because then I could go out and look for shorty. Like, bitch, I know you mine. Like, like
I know, but like at the same time, like maybe that girl is only right for you when you've done something with your life.
Right, right. That's the other thing I told him, and I was like, but what if by going into the future, now you know who your future girl is, and you try to go out look for her earlier than when you were supposed to, and it doesn't work out that way now. Yeah. Because you caught her at a wrong time. Like, yeah. What if in the future y'all had caught each other at the right time, right place, but now you are seeking for her and it's no longer the right time. Like, what if she with her mans and now she don't ever want you because you tried to get at her?
Yeah, that or she's in a really bad spot, like how we all usually are. Like sometimes, like, time shit happens.
But he was just there like, nigga, I don't give a fuck, nigga. That's baby girl.
Like you know that, but she don't.
Exactly. But
the fuck around just trying to. Actually, I ain't gonna say that. You gonna immediately get canceled.
Chill, bro, chill. But yeah, that I don't think I would want to know. I told him I wouldn't want to know. I was like, nah, I wouldn't want to know, cause like, plus it also, like I said, like it will, like you said, it will also ruin the surprise. Like, and I think it's just there, like in my head, if I knew who I would be with for the rest of my life, before I'm with them for the rest of my life, I'd be tight.
What you mean? Why?
Because like. And like, cause in my head, I'm gonna just be like, you the person I'm supposed to be with.
Exactly. So it's just like,
But I'm gonna be tight knowing that, and they don't know that. Like I'm gonna be walking around life, and I'm just there looking at you. Like, let's say when I first, okay, let's say even for example, it's someone who I've never encountered in my life. Like I go into the future and I find out it's somebody who I don't even know yet.
What do you think would actually keep finished?
Right. Let's say it's someone I don't even know yet. But now the moment that I meet them, I'm gonna know. Yeah. Right. I'm gonna be tight, bro. Because I'm just there like no fucking way.
You know what would be even worse? Continue.
No, that's what I'm done.
Two things about that. Like, I think if I would know and I would see the girl, I would I would think twice and be like, am I falling in love at first sight because I know that I have to, or is it organic?
Exactly. You're gonna be overthinking shit, bro. You're just there like you don't even know if you really love this shorty because you love her or because you know you're supposed to be with her. And then you're
gonna come back home and you're gonna be like, yo, what is life?
Literally. But my brother was determined that he would just like, nah, bro, that's my bitch. That's for a reason, bro.
Alright, but how about, what you think if like your significant other in the future is someone that you do know now? Like, what do you think would be like worse? Someone that you don't know.
Oh, someone that you do know?
That you do know. And it's a girl like one of your friends or whatever. Oh, and you would never think about it. Bro. But like how he says like it would have happened at a certain time, blah blah whatever.
Yeah. I mean, because right now you wouldn't think it would happen, but you know later down the line that shit changes on some crazy shit.
Yeah.
How? Damn, bro, that's a tough question, bro.
I would look at it completely. I was like, what?
Nah, bro.
The fuck happens in my life that I'm with you?
Yeah, bro. Literally, bro. I mean, that happens in one of the animes actually. In Reborn, you haven't seen it, but in Reborn, they go into the future, and one of the main characters, he finds out who he's with in the future, and so he's like, oh my god, what the fuck? But then he actually ends up trying to get with her. Like once he finds out that that's the person he's supposed to end up with, he kind of starts liking her because of it. I'm just there like, okay, I guess that works, but it was still weird for him in the beginning.
Yeah, I think that makes sense though. I understand that perspective on that though.
I feel like
because you would almost like find comfort in knowing that.
Yeah. I think honestly, well, depending on the friend.
Yeah.
But for the most part, if that's what turned out to be it, like a friend turned lover later down the line, I'll be like, whoa. But I mean, I guess if we were friends already, like, there's probably a reason we could make it work, and then from there I'll probably start seeing them different anyways, like oh damn, that's probably why later down the line I fucked with you, like
and they probably be
like even just as a friend, like the things that they do as a friend normally, I'll probably just be like, damn, that's probably the shit that made me fuck with you, like to that extent, like
it made you think about it a little bit differently.
But who the fuck knows? Okay, this is one thing that I thought. Like, cause you see how you thought of like if we're at the peak of time.
Yeah.
The Razors, they're like, cause I thought the same thing too. It's just like, okay, but if we're at the peak of time and we're the only ones who have the access to the technology to travel forward or backwards.
So like, if we develop the technology of time travel, we would be the first time travelers.
Yeah. Right. That's why I understand what you mean by the peak of time, right? But then I've also thought to myself is like let's say in that scenario where you go into the future and you find out that your lover is your friend, right? But how would you know that the reason that they're together is because that future version of yourself went into the future when you were in the past, or when you were in your present self but in his past, but like he went into the future and found out the same shit, and so that's how he ended up being that way? Because then that would just also align up with fate, like it's just fate, like that's what's meant to happen. Like you're literally meant to travel into the future and find out that person is meant for you, and then start liking them because of that.
Damn, that's wild.
That's that shit that I be thinking about, because I'm just there like, because if there's such thing as fate, then the idea of time travel almost ceases to exist.
Yeah.
Because no matter what you do, you can't change it. And if you're able to change it, then that's also I guess part of your fate, no?
I get. Damn, that's difficult. Cause fate, cause it would. But what is fate though? At the same time.
Well, okay, great. Cause because we were talking about Loki earlier, and I wanted to bring this up, right? Doctor Strange, the motherfucker has the ability to see into thousands of futures.
Yeah.
Regardless, but there's only really one timeline.
Yeah, right? Main timeline.
Right, the motherfuckers, the time patrollers that are controlling Loki right now, they all knew what was gonna happen regardless. They were just there like, oh, he's gonna see the various different futures and select this one, right? That was the only future that technically still only existed for them.
Yeah.
Right? But then what's the point of having all these other futures if they can only really be one?
Well, I think they said that
fate and making your own fate, like.
Well, in the show, they say that it's kind of, I'm pretty sure it's like a cop out because they're not sure what to do story wise. Yeah. But the way that they say is at the time, I think called the Timekeepers, whatever they call like the heads of it. Yeah. They are the ones that know the flow of time. Yeah. So anything that happens, the multiverse or whatever, as long as it goes according to their whatever they is, then it's fine. So that's how it goes in the show, but in real life, fate and what was the other thing that you said?
And just like changing your fate or like being able to choose the life you live, because if you believe in fate, then you basically believe that this was your life and there was nothing you could have really done to change it.
I don't. Do you believe in fate? I don't, but
I don't know. I can't say that I do, and I can't say that I don't. Like, just because I've never really had a solidified belief in one of those, you know, because it's just the possibility for both exists in my mind. You know, the possibility to choose your own life exists. Like, obviously, I could choose to not do this podcast tomorrow, right? Yeah. And that'll be the end of the podcast. That's a different timeline where the podcast just doesn't exist. But there's also a timeline where the podcast does exist. You feel me? Like, all based on the choices that you make. Yeah. However, who's to say that wasn't the fucking choice you were going to make anyways? Damn. You know, that's the shit that gets to me. Like, who's to say that this wasn't going to be the choice I would have made anyways?
Neil deGrasse Tyson was on the Joe Rogan podcast. I think this is part of like his first or second appearance on it. Yeah. Where he's talking about how there's this theory where like there's so many like parallel universes to the point where like every decision you make, every decision you make, there's another version of you that made a different decision. Yeah. But like that's literally everything, like in a different he was talking about like in a different universe, like I would be sitting there and he would be sitting here, yeah, and like that type of shit, that simple shit.
Yeah, I know. I mean that's what's crazy to think about, because and this is why I tell you literally to watch Reborn, because one of the characters' powers, their abilities, is to be able to gather information from infinite parallel universes.
Oh yeah, that's what you told me.
That shit is wild to think about, bro, because just think about the infinite amounts of possibilities. Not just your parallel universe, but other people's parallel universes. Every single person's different choices that they could have made. Like, that's a shit ton.
I think I would go crazy.
Right, you go crazy, but like that motherfucker, if you had that power to be able to maintain it and manage it, you'd probably be the most powerful motherfucker ever, because you have all the information available to you. Information that right now, let's say to the like in this universe would, like, let's say it could only ever be available to us in the future. Like, let's say a cure for cancer becomes available in 50 years. In another parallel universe, that shit was probably created 1,000 years ago. Like, yeah. Like, you imagine how futuristic that timeline must be, and to be able to gather information from those, and even just be conscious in different universes, because his power is literally to be able to be conscious in whatever universe he pleases to be. Yeah. All while basically being conscious in all of them.
That is so crazy.
Yeah, it's fucking insane to think about. But I would love that power, and I've always said, like, if there was one power I could have, it would definitely be that one.
But I want to talk about the thing that you said about like the cure for cancer and stuff. Like in another parallel universe, like it was 1,000 years ago. Mm-hmm. There's actually like in our history, there's different points in history where like a civilization, a group of people had better technology than what we have now. Like
that's the Wakanda shits, bro. Everybody think it's a third world country until they pop out with all them suits and shit.
Like, there's an example, like in ancient Greece, they had this thing called the Greek fire, where like the I think it would the fire that they had, it was so like potent that it would burn underwater. Like, there would be flames underwater. Wild. Yeah, nobody knows how they did it. Like, it kind of just got lost throughout time.
Damn, that sucks.
So that's one thing. And then I think, like, the whole Atlantis sunk, or the place that supposed to be Atlantis literally sunk.
Yeah.
They talk about that, and I think also like Pompeii, they had some type of technology, but we would never know. And a bunch of civilizations like that, like
I'm sure.
and the pyramids, biggest one.
Literally, I'm sure. And then it would be really cool though to just be like in different parallel universes where those kind of still exist.
Like that knowledge.
Yeah, that well, I'm sure they do. You know, in different parallel universes, that knowledge would probably exist, or like Atlantis probably didn't sink. You know, in a different parallel universe and shit like that.
Yeah.
So that's cool to think about, or even just let's say in other parallel universes, there's parts of the world that haven't been discovered yet that you can find out now, like in this parallel universe. Like, oh shit.
Especially underwater, it's like.
Fuck, I could be the richest nigga alive, bro. I'll be like, oh, there's a private island that nobody knows exists right here. I'm taking it. I'm taking it. You know?
I think at this point we kind of all know land wise. I think we kind of covered the whole Earth. I think so. You think
bro,
so?
You never know, bro.
Never know.
Never know, bro. That's the shit that I'm saying. You just never know.
Because I think like what 70% or like a quite staggering amount of is the percent of
back then, bro. Like 500 years ago, people thought the Earth was flat, bro. That's
nigga. I think the Greeks was the first one that was just like, nah, this shit's round, B.
But the idea was that this was the belief was wrong.
I know. Okay, yeah, the belief is wrong.
The belief was wrong, so that's what I'm saying. Science is subject to change at any fucking point.
I think at this point it's so like, imagine we're wrong about like something big like that. You know how weird that would be.
Yeah.
Imagine if we were born in the time period where
where
niggas
like
started
science and information was incorrect.
Yeah, like where we would like the flat Earth or whatever. Imagine we were in that time where it'd be like, actually it's round. That would be so crazy.
That's wild. That's
so
wild.
crazy.
But I'm sure we still are. You know, maybe not to that
we
extent.
won't know until
we find out.
Yeah.
We won't know. But even to let's say you mentioned while we were talking in the group chat that the metric system or like the way that weight is measured for people and obesity and all that shit hasn't really been updated since like the 80s.
Yeah,
bro.
it's
That's
a long
40
time.
fucking years.
Yeah, because they don't take into account.
That's 40 fucking years.
Yeah.
That's a long time for shit and information to change and develop. So, you know, like 10 years from now, that might be different.
Yeah,
and
I think
take into account maybe the evolution of people in the last 50 years and how people have changed.
And the food that we eat, because the GMO shit and all that plays a big factor.
Exactly. And so, you know, later down the line, that'll be like, oh, nah, that information is actually wrong. This is the truth. You know, fuck around, we find out that maybe you can live on Mars or the moon or some shit like that.
Yeah, I think we literally can't live on the moon because if you take our helmets off, we die.
Yeah.
But the technology-wise, where we would be able to live there, like Mars, like the thing they said about 1,000 years in the future, 1,000 years in the future, I feel like it would be in Mars, and maybe even Moon too. Probably have a colony on the moon just for shits and giggles.
Yeah.
But Mars, I think definitely at 1,000 years.
But you know why I think the moon? Because the moon will probably be a good place to, like a good checkpoint.
Like a gas station.
Yep, like a checkpoint. Like to refill, like, I'm traveling by, let me refuel this jet.
Yeah.
This rocket ship.
You imagine in the future they'll develop some type of technology where they can where we can live on gas planets somehow. Like,
we do live on gas planets.
No, the fuck we don't.
We don't?
Nigga,
don't cut this out, bro.
What do you think a gas planet is?
Bro, I thought Earth is gas, bro. Earth is made out of gas, bro.
No, it's a no. This wrong. Gas planet is like a
literally gas. You mean like Jupiter type shit?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm sure that'll exist at some point in the future.
Yeah, because right now if we go to one will die before we even reach the thing. But if we did, we would just fall right through it.
That's wild.
It's wild.
Would it really fall through it though? Like,
yeah, it's made of gas.
But do they have a strong enough center of gravity to pull us in?
We'll pull us in, but we'll go straight through. There's nothing to stand on.
Okay, so then how you gonna go straight through though if the gravity's pulling you to the center?
What? Well, you'll die before you get there.
Well, I know. But like if the gravity is in the center, how you gonna go through?
I don't know if it has a strong gravity core, because it's it doesn't have anything solid.
Oh, okay.
It's a gas planet, so you just literally go straight through it.
Oh, okay. You're saying that.
Well, you'll burn but if you manage to survive, then you would just go through it.
Would you want to live on another planet, like?
If it's popping, Like, if it's like...
Imagine how much industrialization the world has to go through for us to be living on other planets, though. Like,
especially at now. Like, it took us, what, like, 1,000 to... I actually don't want to be wrong on this math, but, like... how long did it take humans? What was humans' first thing? It was, like, something 50,000 years? I don't know.
what?
When humans first arrived on Earth. Humans, not like Homo Australopithecus, not that little
Like
shit.
millions of years ago.
I'm not sure if it's million years ago. Whenever people started making civilization
Oh,
from that point till now, like, that's a lot of time.
From when they started making civilizations, or when they just started existing in general, like
When they started making civilization, when the first settlement, the
the
first
first
settlement was
Mesopotamia? I remember that
From
shit.
Mesopotamia until now, how long is that?
Oh,
That's like 1,000. That's a couple thousand years ago.
yeah,
Right?
yeah.
And like we'll probably be like, yeah. So from Mesopotamia to now, we got all the cool shit. Like if we settle in Mars, we have to go through that period.
Nah, I don't think
It'll be fast forward, but we still have to go through that period.
Yeah, but that shit will be dumb quick. Like,
How quick do you really think it would be?
hella quick, nigga.
Like what? In 10 years, we'll have a city.
Nah.
Like after we settled in Mars, whatever. Like people are there. How long do you think it would be?
Like 50 to 100.
Yeah.
50 to 100 years, and I feel like that's a short time relatively. Like in comparison,
Yeah,
people
compare-
live 100 years. You know, like someone can see the beginning of Mars to the end of, and it be industrialized. And
You think we'll be able to see the beginning of Mars?
fuck no, I don't think we will.
No,
I don't think we will, honestly. Unfortunately, but our kids probably.
Yeah,
Actually,
I don't think so.
our kids for sure. I think.
Kids for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, cause I plan to have kids when I'm like 27. I want to.
That's the podcast. Future Denzel's wife. You know when?
Yeah, facts. Whoever you are, shorty, baby girl. I hope you already hearing
He
this.
just wanted your toe.
Yeah, bro, baby girl. I hope you're hearing this. Like, at 27,
The
man.
nickname's already starting to fire.
You know how the kids coming. You already know. But at 27, I will hope to have kids soon. So if I'm having kids at 27, I don't think they also see in the future of Mars. Like, you know, the guy is 27.
Unless
years
Elon
after
Musk develops some type of, figures out some shit.
Facts, because that nigga is wildin'. Let's not get into Elon Musk in this
This time,
conversation
yeah.
again, bro, because this nigga is gonna take over the world, bro. We been said that nigga's the next Iron Man.
Yeah, bro. He's Tony Stark.
Tony Stark, bro. When he built the suit, though, that's what I'm saying. But
He got the flamethrower.
oh, where?
You never seen his flamethrower?
I've never seen his flamethrower.
Oh my god, bro, you missing out. Jesus Christ.
I don't be watching Elon Musk shit like
Well, you
that.
gotta watch podcasts, bro. Joe Rogan had Elon Musk on his podcast.
Word.
It's like twice.
Damn. Nigga, Joe Rogan, put me on your podcast, bro. I got a couple things I want to tell you, bro.
That's for the future. That's for the future. You know
For the
what I mean?
future, bro, Joe Rogan, I'm gonna meet you, bro, and you gonna be like, damn.
Yeah,
bro,
word.
we
When
gonna
I'm a
spend
UFC champ, when I'm a UFC champion, watch, I'm gonna be on that shit.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully you're not dead or like retired from that, cause that would suck. But
OD, bro. Don't retire, bro. Don't retire. How old is he?
he's like 50, but he said that he would continue until like, because he just talks like.
Just talks, bro.
Yeah, just wait for me. Like what? Like 10.
Even
Like
20
10 years. Not
bro.
10 years.
is a lie. So you
10 years, I should be already champion by 10 years.
10 years.
That's
I have kids,
28.
bro. I have kids in 10 years, bro.
Yeah.
Damn, no. Now that I think about it, 27 might be too early for me to have kids.
Depends where we at, son.
Yeah, fact, bro. But 27 is just the fact that I said in 10 years. In 10 years, like you remember how I told you earlier today, like 10 years realistically is not that much time.
Yeah,
Like
you know,
relative to how long people really live.
yeah, it's not a long time.
It's
You know
not that
what's
long.
even crazy, bro? Like at this point, we're the youngest of like our family.
Yeah.
So like people are like, oh yeah, in 10 years, whatever. It's just like, yo, that's my older brother.
That's you, but
You was right there.
Seven for me, like, cause my oldest brother is 7 years older than me. So
That's damn near 10.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. So 7 years, but like, 'cause the thing is, as young people, will say 7 years as if they're a lot, but 7 years is just like
no,
that's
your
that
brother.
nigga right there.
Yeah,
though.
that's
He
that
mad
nigga.
young, like he mad young. So that's what that's what I'm saying now. When I said the 10 years out loud, I'm like, hold on, that might be a little too soon. Like, But I mean, I did say I would want to have kids early, just so that when I'm old, I would also still be like young enough to fuck around with them. You know, like if I'm having kids at 27, they'll be 23 and I'm 50. That's like they could drink and I could drink with them. Like
I know, but yeah, but
have a
like
little
at
fun
the same
time.
time, bro, like as technology advances, bro, like a 60-year-old is not even old at that point.
Yeah, that's
You
what
know, The Rock is almost 60. He's
yeah,
50.
that's what I'm
And
saying.
he
Though,
looked
like,
like a
technology and medicine is gonna advance so much that just like bro, at your 50, niggas is still gonna be able to move like they 30. You feel me?
Yeah.
So,
See The Rock?
nah, that nigga is bad. Vin Diesel niggas, them niggas is old heads, bro, and they be moving like crazy.
Yeah, I mean The Rock is definitely on roids 100%.
You
But-
think so? You think so?
100%.
You
He's
think
50. He's gone brolic. He's like
Nah, bro, there's no way, bro. There's no way he could be on roids, bro. I don't think so.
100%.
Bro, I refuse
He's
to
on.
believe.
He's definitely on TRT.
I don't know what that is, but
That's
explain.
testosterone replacement therapy. It's basically just testosterone.
Okay. Would you
Bro.
ever take testosterone?
When I'm retired, I'm like 60. Yeah, sure.
Why? Like, what does it have
To
any
be a
health
superhuman.
benefits?
What?
Does it have any health benefits?
Yeah, like all roids do. All roids have health
Hey,
benefits.
don't they also have like health deficits?
If you abuse it.
Abuse it?
Funny thing about roids is that when they first got created, not these crazy shits, because these crazy shits nowadays you can
Those
do
are
it.
like bionic chips almost.
But basically, bro, there's roids that literally make it like your eyesight better.
Yo, but I need
To
that
an
shit, bro.
extreme, like, to
I
an
need that
extreme.
shit. Hey, bro, I mean, I believe one thing. I do believe we not making it in Mars, but within our lifetime. But I definitely think within our lifetime, they definitely gonna create like bionic shits, like bionic chips,
100%.
superhuman motherfuckers.
They have you? There's they saw something where like recently where they made a person that an amputee.
Yeah,
They made it so that he had like a arm
Mhm.
that he could move
Right,
with his nerves.
There's a nigga
With
on-
his nerves,
That's
bro.
wild. That's that, and I'm actually looking forward to that kind of technology being pushed
Yeah.
out and being so much more accessible to older people and shit. Because then things like disability won't really be a thing anymore.
Yeah.
You know, and it'll just save a shit ton of people. Like there's a nigga on my block who's an amputee, and he has a replacement arm that looks almost like one of those prototypes of those that would move with
Yeah.
your nerves. But I don't know if it moves or not.
Yeah.
I've never asked him. But I do think it's pretty cool. Like, and I know as technology advances, it'll be a thing. Like, where people can do that shit mentally. There's probably like a fucking Bluetooth chip that connects to the arm, and maybe you charge it at night while you're not using it, and plug it back in the morning, like, and your mind controls it or some shit.
And the thing with medicine is crazy, but like 10 years ago in the athletic world, any sport, if you get like actually that if for example the Kevin Durant, he had an Achilles injury.
Yeah.
And like usually like 10 if this was like 10 years before or even 5 or even like maybe even 5 really.
Yeah.
An athlete would get that same injury that he would have, and he'd probably be done for the rest of his career.
Word.
Because it's that serious. Because the Achilles is like think about how much you use this fucking part of your
bro.
leg to
Yeah.
do anything, like to bounce to everything. That's
Mhm.
basically what basketball is.
Literally.
And he could like
You can't really use it.
you can't really use it. Imagine that being completely blown out. And that like now he's fine. Like Kevin Durant, he like dropped 50. He dropped 49 points. Like he's better than ever.
Yeah.
And Kobe had that same. He had an Achilles injury, and he was never the same afterwards.
Damn, that's wild.
And that was like not that far.
That part, yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But I mean, I think. Fuck, I had a brain fart. I was gonna say something about. I meant to ask you if you think like that kind of technology almost would be available as cosmetic surgery.
What you mean?
Well, because the idea would be like you would have this stuff for like maybe like amputees and shit, and people who can't really use their arms. But what if there's people who want to become superhuman?
Oh, and then the technology, those arms that they
Yeah,
use
kind
for
of even maybe
amputee
like
would
make them, but like
evolve it.
yeah, maybe almost into like something like a cyborg where you're still human, but like you got
Yeah, like the
like-
same technology that the person that the people would use to like connect the nerves to the arm.
Yeah.
You would just be able to do that.
Yeah.
And just put it extreme.
Basically, like, do you
I
think
think
that
that
would
would-
become like a cosmetic surgery thing, or would only be restricted to like disabled people?
If the technology goes far enough, it would be cosmetic and all that stuff.
You think so? I mean, I feel like
Yeah.
I don't know, because at that point you're really creating like weapons out of people.
But that's what like But that happens all the time, though. Like,
I know it does, but it's just like just think about things like now, bro. If we were to go to war, bro, like nuclear warfare is a very real danger when it comes to starting war in general.
yeah.
Because people have the access to this technology, even though like there are certain countries that are ahead of the game. But think about it in the next like what it's been, I want to say like around approximately like 60, 80 years since nuclear technology has been created.
Yeah. You
Give
might
it
be
a-
a little bit off on that, but yeah, 60.
Around there,
Yeah,
when
around
the
there.
fuck was Hiroshima? Like they was bombing shit in like 1940s, bro.
940s,
That's
yeah.
like
60.
that's like 80
Oh,
years,
yeah, that
bro.
is 80, yeah.
So I'm thinking you give the rest of the world like another 50, 60 years. There's gonna be a whole bunch of countries that probably have access to that kind of technology.
They probably already, they already have, like,
Yeah.
there's so many nuclear plants and nuclear bombs and all that
Right,
shit.
exactly. So it's just they're like, there's the real threat of even going to war because of that. But now
Yeah.
imagine if you're creating superhuman soldiers, a whole bunch of Captain Americas, if you will. Like, that's kind of fucking crazy. And on all sides.
I think the technology would probably, because right now we all have nukes, like America. Everybody that wants, for some reason, everybody that be like tempting about war shit, they all have nukes.
Yeah.
They're the only ones that have nukes. So like we're already in that position right now. I don't think war would happen just because of that, because we have nukes and all that.
Mm.
Like,
I don't think it would, but that's what I don't know. It's just I feel like it's
because if anything happens, is that the world explodes.
Right, but this is what I'm saying. It's a danger to even create this type of shit.
Yeah, but it always happens though. There's a danger to fucking making cars.
Yeah.
The same technology that was made for cars eventually made its way to fucking making tanks.
To building what?
To making tanks. You need the
Yeah.
first car before you get the first tank.
Yeah, you're right.
That happens to everything.
They weaponize everything, bro.
Yeah.
Speaking like with the amount of resources that I feel like the U.S. has, I feel like the technology and the way of living in this country could be a lot better. Like, just think about the fact that like Japan has like a fucking bullet train,
Yeah.
right? I'm pretty sure the U.S. has more than enough resources to create, probably enough of those to go around the entire fucking country.
Yeah.
You know, like, cause like the bullet train I think does go through like major cities in Japan.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know. Would love for Daisy to be here to speak on this.
Did they? I don't gotta ask her if they rode the bullet train.
I'm pretty sure they did, but
I never asked her that question.
but Shorty went to Japan, so
Yeah.
so I'm about to ask her. But you know, like they have access to this technology of the bullet train, like
They know of it, like
right. You know, everybody knows the bullet train exists, but why does only Japan have it? You know, like, I'm pretty sure the U.S. with the money and resources that they have, they could also build it. And
Maybe
if anything,
it's
probably
because
a better one.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe it's because like the train we already have a functioning train system. It barely functions. Like, don't get me wrong, bro. We in New York. This train is fucking terrible. I fucking hate trains.
We in New York, and we supposed to have basically one of the best train systems, because you go to Syracuse and that shit don't exist, bro. Train systems don't really exist in other places other than major cities,
Yeah.
which is I think another problem.
Yeah.
Like, you know, with all the resources, why only major cities have like
a fucked up train system.
a
Because
fucked
it's-
up train system like that, you know? So,
Yeah.
like, and I asked this, I talked about this once with my mom, and I was like, yo, imagine if they put like a bullet train, like you can get from like the lower part of Manhattan to the ends of the Bronx in like less than 10 minutes.
That would open up so many, like, people would not be afraid of getting jobs that is like too far away.
Yes, bro.
Like, I
Like,
work
you
in
have
Queens.
access.
If we had a goddamn bullet train, but I'll be there in like 15 minutes. Instead of
Probably
a
less,
fucking hour.
bro, because we were trying to do like some calculations to see how much it takes to travel. Like, I tried to see how much was the distance, I think, from like 42nd Street to like 149th Street in the Bronx.
Yeah.
I think that the travel time, given how fast this bullet train is and how much distance you gotta cover, is like, it would be like less, like 3 minutes.
That ass.
Yeah.
That's
And
mad far.
That's
too.
mad far, bro. Like, from 42nd, bro, all the way to like 149th from the Bronx. Like, that's quite a
fucking
distance.
far.
You feel me? And if you were to take a regular train, that'll probably, like, let's say the 2 train, because the 2 train would dead ass make those same stops.
Yeah.
From 42nd to 149th, you might be on that train maybe for like, I want to say like half an hour.
Yeah.
I may be dragging it, but I want to say like half an hour.
Yeah.
If you could cut that half an hour to 3 minutes, like, el diablazo, nigga, like,
Word. 30 minutes. That's so
saving mad time.
yeah.
Mad time.
But all the infrastructure that they would have to create and invest and all that shit that they don't even do now with the already fucked up train system that's been fucked up for fucking since I was born.
I mean, but we shitting on the trains, but the trains they've also like remodeled and renovated them before we were born, because before back then they didn't look the way they didn't look the way they
use coins.
Yeah, they would use coin tokens, and now they've upgraded it so that we could basically be tapping shit.
Yeah.
They're gonna get rid of the whole swiping system by like 2024.
I don't understand why the
Or
unlimited
2022.
thing doesn't work on your phone. Like
It will. It's just that they haven't been able. The reason that they haven't done it, I've looked into it, is because they still haven't been able to make it so that it's accessible for other people. Like let's say for example, reduced fare.
Yeah.
You know, like reduced fare Metro cards are a thing where people pay less money for the to still take that ride. But you know, if you tap at this point, everybody who taps is $275 no matter what you do.
Yeah.
You know, so they're still trying to make it accessible so that niggas who have like reduced fare, and they could also have that option of like a limiteds and shit.
I feel like that's such an easy thing to fix. Isn't that just more of a software thing?
Probably.
So can they just like?
Maybe, I don't know, but because the other thing is that they're also not available at like throughout all the stations. Like, because you remember when they were putting them out, like there would be some stations that have them, some that didn't. There would be some buses that had them,
that was
some
during
buses
the pandemic too. So like I kind of when I went out
Well,
back in the world, it kind of wasn't every train station.
Yeah. I mean, they put them out like I want to say like around 2019. That's when they really started rolling them out real heavily. Towards the end of 2019, because I did definitely start to notice when I would see them in train stations. Like before, I would only see them maybe in like 42nd Street and the downtown stations. But then when I saw them in the 145th D train station, I was like, oh shit,
it's coming.
I was like, it's coming up, like they're doing it with the rest of it. So then I started looking into it, and they said that like they plan to roll it out completely by like the end of 2022, where everybody I think has access to that software thing, where it's just they're like, oh, unlimited and all that whatnot bullshit.
I can't wait till then.
Yeah, but it makes even the world safer, right? Because you don't have to be like having your hands out. Everything is contactless, so you know that you permits the contraction of any bacteria and shit.
That's one good thing that the pandemic thing. I think the pandemic actually there was a lot of good in the pandemic. Yeah. Afterwards, now like that train shit, I don't think would have never got done if it wasn't for the pandemic.
Probably.
Like that too, and also the whole conversation about like wow we can actually do a lot of these jobs from home. Like a lot of people like you see in the news and stuff, they're like trying to be like, we don't need to do this shit at a place if you can do it from our homes. So I feel like the whole job industry is gonna change because of it.
Yeah, it'll change at some point where it's just there like a lot more jobs and availability will be created for remote people. Yeah, where you won't even have to leave your house.
Yeah, I feel like the pandemic created that conversation, the discussion.
Yeah, that is just there. Like, it's possible to work from your house, so why not do it?
Yeah.
But I think the other thing is like for business owners, I had read this article about like for business owners that's not necessarily a good thing, because then they were just like I had read something like if you're gonna work from home, I'm gonna pay you like a contractor, you know, based on the work you do and not on a salary. You know, and that becomes problematic for the people who are working at home, because now you got to make sure you're always on top of your shit to get paid what you want to get paid, as opposed to like, cause like you won't have a salary, so now it's just there like you can't slack off even one day. Yeah. Because now you're still not gonna get paid the same.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be perfect now for a long time, because it's a really big change. But I think the start of the discussion is important, at least for a lot of jobs, as well as the pandemic also taught us, at least the young generation. I think everybody is like you get multiple streams of income, because like that job you really are just
relying on that job, nigga. Yeah. Once you don't have that job, nigga, you fucked, nigga. Like you better start doing something with your life, nigga. Like
you try to develop yourself. You just as replaceable. And a lot of all these factory jobs, we're getting replaced by robots. And a lot of other jobs in the future is going to be replaced. Like, get some skills,
get some skills, bro. Some invaluable skills, bro. Yeah.
But some shit that you can bring to the table, be like, yo, I'm important because I can do this, or that. A lot of niggas don't want to do that shit.
A lot of niggas... What I want to
majority of the niggas.
Yeah,
Majority of the niggas don't.
Majority of the niggas wouldn't want to do it. But I feel like like if most of the people could realize that, that it will be like the world will like advance so much faster. Even America on its own, right? Like for example, like I talk a lot more about this book after I read it, like The Rich Dad Poor Dad, and in that book he kind of shits on the education system. Like if there's one thing that he says is faulty, is the education system, because he was like, I encourage everyone to get an education because it'll help you develop a professional skill. You know, like you go to school for law, you could become a lawyer, right? You go to school to become a doctor, you become a doctor. Great. You know, that those are all professional skills that you can work as. But the thing is that the school only prepares you to just be a member of society.
Yeah.
Oh shit. We running out of time, guys. But like school, like and the saddest part is that most people, by the time they get out of high school, they know it. Like they know that high school and school in general just prepares you to just be another person, like another worker.
Yeah.
You know, like most people know it, and they still go through with it. You know, it's just, but that's why he shits on the education system so much, because it's just like, yo, bro, y'all have deep rooted this shit so much into like the education and the foundation of people, that they just don't even fight it.
They don't even fight it, and like to be honest, like the whole thing that we talk about this all the time, where it's just like, yo, you do have a lot of talents, but like it's almost like it gets lost in these couple of years where like you like in high school where you're just talking about what you're gonna do in college. Like every skill that you kind of wanted to learn, it just stays in your back pocket to the point where like you forget about it.
Yeah, or because you just don't feel like you can develop it into something that'll make you money. So like you just tend to try and stick with that professional skill,
even if you really don't like it. But that's what everybody's telling you to do.
Right.
And that's the right thing to do.
Right, but that shit is, but like that's why in the book he criticizes the education system so much, because he's just there like, we could do so much better, and if the education system focused more on developing other skills and teaching these people like what he calls it is financial literacy.
Yeah,
like
I know.
Yeah, like the power of money and like how the world really works, like because. And he was like, notice how every time, like, let's say you ask a teacher, if you were to, like, he says in his own examples, he gives his own examples. He was just there, like, at some point, he would be in school in a specific subject, and he would be like, okay, but how does this help me in life?
Yeah.
You know, and then the teachers really fail to answer him, and they'll be like, oh, it'll give you knowledge, information about the world, and he's just like, okay, yes, but how does it help me?
Yeah.
You know, and they're like, what do you mean, like? You know, and they're just there like, he's just there like, how is this gonna make me money? Because at the end of the day, money's how you gonna live.
Yeah.
Money's how you gonna survive, bro.
Yeah, people for some reason money always has the terrible stigma of like, oh, you shouldn't want money,
right,
or this or that. It doesn't lead you. It's like, yes, it doesn't lead me to happiness, and you're all right, but what it gives me is security.
Yeah, and that's quite literally.
And security, from then I can develop happiness.
And that's exactly what he mentions in the book, because he's just there like, yo, ask a teacher, and then their response will probably be like, oh, money's not important. If you learn and follow the education, money will follow. Yeah. Right, because you'll get that job.
Yeah.
You'll get whatever job that
they're
basically grooming you to get.
Yeah.
You know, but that's why he's just saying like, y'all don't really teach people the importance of money, because is like seen as such a bad thing.
Yeah.
And it has such this bad stigma, which is they're like, oh, don't live your life for money, but it's
and then they'd be like, oh, look at all these examples of people that had all the money and then lost it or whatever, and
yeah,
they were never
just
happy.
Like,
it was just like, well, how was that person before money? I bet they were the same person.
Yeah,
like
they didn't change anything.
Because then you'd be like, well, what about all these happy people that are rich? They don't count.
Literally, they don't count, bro. Like you basically just saying I'm gonna get rich to be sad. Like, what? Yeah. What, nigga? But that's the shit. Like in that book, he definitely emphasizes that the education system should be better, and there should be a bigger emphasis on how to make money, because that's what really brings you that security and the ability to live your life in the way that you want to.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, the money, like as people say, money is not important. Like, it's not what gives you happiness, but it does give you the security to be able to do what makes you happy.
It's a step. It's a step in the right direction.
Bro. It's the only thing that will allow you to do what makes you happy, because you're free, right? Like, in the game that I was showing you, the whole point is to make enough money that's like being generated on its own to cover your expenses, so that you're free to do the things that make you happy afterwards.
Yeah.
You know, that's why you buy your dream at the end of the game. You buy your dream after you have the money, but most people want the dream before the money.
Yeah, and a thought that I had when you explained that game was this. So you told me that there was two ways to finish the game or beat the game.
Mm-hmm.
One would buy your dream, and the other one was to have that passive income path.
Yeah, the passive income to just be so fucking high that you make it mad, bro.
Yeah, it's like at that point, like you beat the game. Like
Yeah,
it's,
you
it's
beat the
true.
game, bro. Like you've beaten life, bro. Like
yeah, you beaten life.
Ain't nothing life could do. Like throw at you your way, like that you probably can't solve.
Because you're secure now.
Yeah, you're secure, and you and the thing about that game is that it also teaches you, like, the idea is like you're supposed to develop so many different skills that by the time that maybe life does try to throw a curveball at you, you know how to handle it.
Yeah,
I
really like that game. Yeah,
you've already built so many fucking skills, all with this idea of trying to get money.
Yeah,
you know, you build so many skills with this idea of just you getting money, bro.
Yeah.
But the one thing he emphasizes in the book is like, bro, it's not even about the money, just learning, bro. Like, learning these skills is what's gonna bring you the money. But the problem with school is that school is not gonna show you that. Yeah. School doesn't show you that building up these skills is gonna get you the money. School shows you learning and like just follow an education in one specific thing, and the money will follow.
I even think education makes you like almost like what's that word? Almost makes you like it makes you dissatisfied with learning itself.
Mm-hmm. He emphasizes that too, which is why he made the game. Like, he made the game because he's just there like, school is a boring ass way to learn.
Yeah, I hate reading, and I hated reading because every time I would read, it would be at school, and I would hate reading everything that they told me to read. So I just thought I hated reading.
Yeah.
But like, nah, it's not that.
It's not even that, bro. It's just they like because
I didn't like whatever they were telling me to read.
Exactly, and it wasn't engaging. It wasn't interesting. It wasn't entertaining. You know, and so, like, for example, he believes, like, the author. You read a portion of the book, right? You said.
Yeah, I did.
He believes in the part, like, what was it? And basically, like, doing to learn, like, right? And so the person that he learned from was his best friend's dad.
Yeah, his best friend's dad.
That was the rich dad.
Yeah.
And his best friend's dad was making him go through mad shit. Like, he had him working basically for free. He was slaving. And him as a kid, he got tight. And he says, they're like, bro, you got me slaving out here. You're not paying me shit. For what? And then he tells him, he's like, I'm teaching you a lesson. Like life is gonna push you around in this way, and you gotta be willing to do something about it, rather than let life do you in like that.
Yeah, and that book, the Poor Dad, was the one that
it was his own father who kept telling him, who was a teacher
to the education, right?
Yeah, he was just like, yo, just get an education, bro.
And the rich dad was just like, no, you got to develop, and it's more business oriented.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Yeah, that's the shit. And then, like, and it's funny because then the rich dad shows like all these reflections of the poor dad, like, oh, like, I bet you he probably pays his bills first, or I bet you he probably does this. I bet you he probably does this. You know, like.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's crazy because you see those patterns. It's just they're like, people are not doing enough for themselves.
Yeah.
You know, and it's hard to do more for yourself when society pushes you not to.
Especially when the worst thing that happens to people is that they conform to where they're at.
Yep.
Out of safety for real reasons, like they have a child or whatever, like they have real responsibilities, they can't risk anything.
Well, and that's actually a part of the game too. Like, is like, those are options. Like, if you roll, you can land on like a child, bro, and you'll be like, oh, you got a child, bro.
That's how life be though. It's like, oh shit, I have a child now.
Yeah, then that'll be another expense that like gets added onto the game. You're like, oh, you got a child now, so you make sure you're taking care of that motherfucker.
Yeah.
And so that's that game is really good.
Yeah.
But for all of that, but But I think, I don't know, you want to continue talking or?
I have one more point, and then it's not really a point, it's more like something to add on.
Go for it.
Like I've been listening to the 50 Cent's Hustle Harder book, the audio version, and I'm up to the part where he said something really interesting because he was talking about, you know Lloyd Banks and Tony Ayo is?
Nope.
You know G-Unit?
Yeah.
Those members, like his two closest people, like his like the main squad. Those two people. he was explaining because they had beef in the past and like he doesn't talk to them or whatever, and he explained it in his book, and he was basically talking about how like certain people, like once a person is stuck in their ways, you can't really change them.
Yeah, you
so
can't
like
really change that.
so he basically that's basically what he was explaining to about one of them, about Lloyd Banks, how like he didn't want to evolve. Like he was talking about an example about Instagram. How like when Instagram first came around, he told Banks like, yo, get on Instagram. You told me that you don't like exposing yourself out there. If you do it on Instagram, you kind of just do it on your own. There's not a crowd, so it would be better for you. And he was like, nah, that shit corny or whatever, right? And he was talking about that and how like he himself, like 50 Cent, thought that was corny too.
Yeah.
Instagram at first.
Yeah.
But he
just
later
do it.
Yeah, he just did it, and he later evolved, and he was talking about how like it was one of his best things that he did, because now his Instagram is popping and he markets a bunch of shit on it.
Facts.
And he was basically just talking about that. It's just like people get stuck in their ways and they don't want to evolve, and then at that point, just like, why am I with you if you're not gonna evolve?
Yeah.
And he was just like, at that point, after when he made that realization about the both of them, it was just like, I won't invest another minute of my time or $1 on both of them.
Damn, that's some shit.
Yeah, and he was talking about, and then he added on about how like age, it is nothing like age is not really, it's not a number. It's more like age is just it's how much experiences you have and how many experiences you want to continue having. And he was talking about how like him himself, for example, like he will get excited hearing new music today or tomorrow, and he would feel like how he felt when he was 18 or whatever.
Yeah.
Because he won't stop himself from like neglecting new experiences. Because he was talking about how like there would be like, oh, this new music is trash or whatever,
Yeah.
And you're just like, nah, I mean, you're kind of just missing out at that point. And he was just talking about that and all of that, and he ended it off basically saying that however old you are, if you're 18, you can be as old as a 7-year-old if you're not open-minded enough to be curious. The moment where you stop being curious is you might as well be 70 and dead, because you'll be stuck in your ways.
Yeah.
So yeah, you'll be the same person that you are at 18 as you are at 70. So you might as well already think like a 70-year-old. He was like, me, I'm young. I'm 50, but I'm young because there's always a new business that I'm gonna do. And he was talking about how like
something new that you could just get into, bro.
Yeah, and he was talking about how like I know that there's gonna be a generation where they will know me as 50 Cent the rapper, and I know there will be another generation that will know me as 50 Cent the TV mogul. And it was just like evolve or die.
God damn, this nigga saying some shit, bro. This nigga saying some shit, bro. Gotta pay attention to the wise words of the motherfuckers, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Well, you know what, bro? That's why I'm starting to get more into the books, bro. Because some of these niggas who
niggas be spit,
yeah,
bro.
because they write their books on experiences, bro, and not just on some fictional shit or whatever, some intellectual shit. It'll just be like on experience and real life shit. So you know, you get those books that'll tell you like, oh, don't necessarily conform, right? Like, cause you mentioned something about how the nigga was stuck in his ways.
Yeah.
And so, and in the book that I read, he mentions a lot about how like people are afraid to move forward because of shit that they'll hear other people say. Like for example, like 50 Cent could have easily been one of those niggas who did not move forward because his friend was like, oh, Instagram is corny. And that idea alone, that his friend said that, might have influenced him to not take that risk.
Yeah.
To not move forward with his life. And that's what happens to a lot of people, that they choose to not take a risk or not even a risk, bro. It could literally be an opportunity that
because Instagram is not even a risk. Like,
yeah, it's just like there's literally things that people see certain opportunities as risks just because of things that other people say, like, oh, don't get into real estate, bro, because you
don't
gonna
get into
fucked.
stocks.
Don't get into stocks, bro, because you like that shit could go down. Like, yeah, but it could also go up, and it normally does go up.
Yeah.
So what? But like they'll like the media and all that shit, like saying a lot of, like, the book says that in one of the chapters is like, oh, that media influences, friends influence your family. Someone who tells you like, yo, bro, don't get into that, don't get into real estate because houses just went up or some shit.
Yeah.
They're like,
so shit happens every day. Son.
yeah,
like,
bro. One opportunity, bro. It's just like you're missing out on an opportunity just because you have a negative mind, or because you're pessimistic and you don't want to take this risk.
Yeah. And like, for what at the end of the day?
Yeah,
to
bro.
be stuck in where you are now, like,
Yeah, bro. Instead, and then they'll be like, nah. If anything, I'd rather just work harder at my job to get more money, and it just they're like, to then spend more money. Like, you're getting more money to then spend more money, but you.
And what does even working hard even really feel like?
Right, and it's funny because literally today on Instagram I had seen a post that was like, oh, top 5 things that people regret on their deathbed, and one of them was literally saying, it said working like working too hard, you know, and something that the book emphasizes is like yes, work hard, but make sure that your hard work is paying off.
Yeah,
you know, because you out here as an adult, you busting your ass off your whole fucking life to not enjoy it, and it never really paid off. Because it was your entire life, bro.
Yeah, you want to make that a section of your life.
Exactly. You work hard, you eat your shit. You know, like Will said, you eat your shit from 20 to 30 or whatever you're eating your shit, bro.
Yeah, that phase, the eating shit phase.
That eating shit phase, but you thug it out so that later on it pays off. But that entire time that you was busting your ass, you was also working smarter.
Yeah.
You know, the niggas, like, that's what the emphasis is like, yeah, you could work hard, but don't work harder, work smarter, bro. Like,
yeah,
you know, you use that money that you're building now to do other shit.
Yeah, people tend to like get like, I see it in like people that we know, like the old generation, like even maybe your parents or friends, where like they have tunnel vision in one job, in one field or whatever they have, and it could be literally any job, like maybe a 9 to 5, regular 9 to 5. They have tunnel vision throughout their whole lives, and they look up and they're already 30 and they're in the same spot. Like, you almost have like, and you can't look up too soon because then you just live in your head the whole time and not do anything.
Yep.
But it's almost like you gotta juggle the balance. Almost like one eye you gotta be looking down, tunnel vision. The other eye is like, I still got something though.
I gotta sleep with one eye closed, bro.
Yeah.
Never know.
Yeah.
But we've talked for quite a minute on this one. Honestly, there was no breaks, nothing. Diablo, my nigga. we spit facts and we went through mad different topics and shit. Yeah, it's a good way to end it though. Lucas, you got any words to end the shit real quick?
Nah, I'm damn near done. This is a great episode, I think, to be honest.
I feel so. Y'all might not be so interested, but you know, we was spitting the facts, bro. Pay attention.
Pay attention, bro. If nobody else gonna do it, we gonna do it. We gonna educate. We gonna bring y'all to our level, and then some. You know what I mean?
Y'all gonna see it. We gonna be like, we was saying it back then, bro.
Back then, son. We gonna
speak into existence. Then, nigga. Bro, we out here.
If y'all motherfuckers ain't gonna listen to this shit now and believe it, in a couple of years from now.
I saw some dude wearing a shirt the other day that was just there like don't believe me, just watch. And it was just like, fuck it, bro. If y'all don't want to believe us now, bro, when y'all watching this shit, just watch, nigga. Just watch what we saying.
This goddamn clip of me is gonna be on Instagram or whatever the fuck social media is at the time. Be like, damn, yo, he actually said what he was gonna do. Yeah, nigga, I did that.
I did that. Facts, bro. I mean, that's the tunnel vision that niggas gotta have, though. Like of having a set goal in mind.
Yeah.
But you know what? That's a great way to end it. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and if y'all didn't, fuck off. But
facts.
Moi, I love all of y'all motherfuckers. Peace out.
Yeah, deuces.